Kia ora tātou, welcome back to the Gaming Den. This week I've been painting up some British infantry for the first couple of years in the Far East, so I thought I'd do a little battle report based around a battle that took place on the 7th of January 1942. So the Japanese invaded Malaya in December 1941. Their attack actually came a few hours before Pearl Harbor, I think, and then they invaded Thailand on December 11th. They'd driven relentlessly down the western coastline of Malaya, defeating all the British attempts to stop them, and by Christmas held all of northwest Malaya. On the 2nd of January, the 11th Indian Division had retreated to prepared positions at Trolloc, about 5 miles from Slim River. The 4th 19th Hyderabad Regiment held the 4 positions with anti-tank obstacles and roadblocks. Behind them was positioned the 52nd Punjab Regiment, and then behind them again were the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, which were grouped in a defensive position, but they lacked anti-tank obstacles. And then further back, the 28th Gurkha Brigade was spread along the road and railway line leading to the Slim River bridges, which had been prepared for demolition. The Japanese 42nd Regiment, aided by tanks from Shimada's tank regiment, I think there was about 17 Chi-Ha tanks and 3 or so light tanks but they came up with a novel plan to lead a night attack with the tanks. Bit of a dangerous proposition, but in the early hours of the 7th of January, the 42nd Regiment broke through the Hyderabad positions and then smashed the Punjab positions as well, with the tanks leading the charge. And just before morning, they encountered the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders dug in around Trolloc, and that's the engagement that I'm going to use for this particular battle today. And so here's just a bit of an overview. So the Japanese had landed here and were advancing along the main road south towards Singapore, but they'd also driven along the coast and were threatening to outflank the British and Indian forces. So this is where this battle takes place, near the village of Trolloc, just before the Slim River. This other map here shows the situation just as the Japanese attacked in the morning. We've got the 3 British and Indian regiments in echelon along the road, and then we've got the Gurkhas further back at the river with the 155th Field Regiment further back again. So the Japanese were trying to take the Slim River bridges to force a crossing of the river. So I've painted up this force for rapid fire in the last week, so I wanted to get them out on the table and just give them a bit of a run in a solo game. So my rapid fire battalion consists of a battalion commander with 1 other figure, 2-inch mortar, anti-tank rifle, 3-inch mortar and medium machine gun, and then there were 4 companies of infantry, each had 8 figures including a light machine gun. And as I tend to do, I had +1 die for light machine guns firing. And here we have my Japanese regiment. So again, battalion HQ, just a battalion commander and a couple of figures, an infantry gun, 2 medium machine guns, and then 4 companies of 10 figures including a knee mortar and a light machine gun. Decided to give each company a light machine gun. I think that might be how I end up organising my Japanese. And also they had 2 Chi-Ha medium tanks. And here we have deployment. So decided to have jungle along both flanks of the table. The village of Trolloc is here. Here's the main road passing through. These are those new palm trees that I made up last week, and just the rest of my scatter terrain. So British had 2 companies deployed on either side of the road. They had no major anti-tank obstacles. anti-tank rifles in the building back here, 3-inch mortar and battalion HQ further back, and the medium machine gun adding support in the front line. So Japanese would be advancing along the road, and it would be counting as a night battle. So not able to see troops more than 12 inches distance unless they fired. And here we have the Japanese turn 1. So leading with the Jihad tanks and 2 companies on either side of the road with a medium machine gun supporting each, and the company closest to the camera has got the infantry gun attached as well. In reality, what happened is that the British mistook the advancing Jihad tanks for green gun carriers that they were expecting from the regiments or battalions in front of them, and the first Japanese tanks actually drove straight through the British position, splitting it in half, which was far from ideal. And again, turn 2, not a great deal of action. Japanese just continued to advance, some advancing through the rice paddies, this company advancing around them, medium machine gun keeping up, and the infantry gun just getting position for supporting fire if need be. And on the other side of the road, both of the companies advancing, but nobody's in visibility as of yet, and the British are holding their fire. Japanese turn 3, just advancing to the Argyll's lines. Nobody has fired as of yet. Right, turn 3, the forward British companies open fire. 7 hits on this Japanese company. They lose 3, stands of 2, and this company over here takes 4 hits, so they're going to lose 2. So battle is joined. Okay, turn 4. Japanese have continued to attack. Company moving forward here. Done 3 wounds on the British company in the front. The same on the other side. Mixture of mortars, small arms fire, and the tanks. Okay, so here we have it again. So these Japanese are advancing, been firing with all they can with the Argyll company in the front. Foxholes there, did 3 hits I think it was, so 2 figures are removed, and then over here advancing into the rice paddies as well, with the machine gun in support and the light mortars as well. The Chihas are also firing at the British positions. So British turn 4, just did 2 hits on the company in the front there, and 2 hits over there. So firing not so successful. On to Japanese turn 5. Turn 5, Japanese assault here was successful. They also knocked out the light mortar there. The Jihad got lucky and it's knocked out the 3-inch mortar. Over here though, the Japanese assault was repulsed. So on to the British turn 5. Okay, British turn, just 2 casualties there, 2 casualties over there as well. So on to Japanese turn 6. Right, turn 6. Anti-tank rifle in the building there.
rolled a 6 to hit and then a 6 to destroy the front Chi-Ha. Took 2 casualties there, about to be taken off, and also took 2 over there as well. But the British, they once again managed to hold off the assaulting Japanese infantry. So interesting. British turn 6, no casualty scores, just a couple of hits, but not enough to cause any losses to the Japanese there. So on to turn 7, anti-tank rifle, having been successful with its first shot, missed the second Chi-Ha. Turn 7, again a couple of Japanese assaults went in, drove the Scots out of this position here, and also drove them out of that position there. So both sides are close to the morale point. Japanese are making inroads. Also managed to knock out the Vickers medium machine gun over there. And let's have a look at the Scots morale check. It's a 5, so they continue. Okay, more casualty scores by the British. They retreated to the building over there and opened fire. A couple of casualties over there as well. So the Japanese are just short of their break point. British are just on theirs. Japanese turn. Infantry gun, knee mortars, and the tank fired the infantry in the building there. Did a couple of casualties. Japanese drove the Scots out of that position. Did 1 casualty, which doesn't count as a wound. And the morale check for the British, another 5.
So even though that was a 5 with modifiers, it took it down to a 2. So the Scots retired for a couple of turns. So I called it at that point. In reality, what happened was the Scots put up stiff resistance for an hour or so, but because they had mistaken those initial Japanese tanks for Bren gun carriers and they'd burst through the Scots position, they were isolated and taken out piecemeal. The Scots broke up into smaller groups and headed into the jungle. Only something like 90 odd Scots were at the next roll call. So yeah, they got absolutely hammered. The Japanese then continued their advance and ran into the 5th, 14th Punjabs and the 2 2nd Gurkhas. Both these battalions were marching up the road, had no idea that they were about to be overrun, and the Japanese just absolutely destroyed both those battalions. They then forced a crossing of the river, and it wasn't until they encountered the field artillery regiment with 25 pounders and lost a couple of tanks down here that the attack was halted. But by that stage the Japanese had forced the river and they had absolutely destroyed the 11th Division as a fighting unit in the meantime, and the British and Indians were once again forced to retreat. So it was a stunning victory actually to the Japanese. They took some losses, but they inflicted very heavy casualties on the British and Indian forces confronting them. So there we have it. That's my little battle report for today. I hope you enjoyed that. It's something a wee bit different. Enjoyed getting those new forces on the table. I've got some more 8th Army figures which I'm going to paint up as an Indian battalion. Should be turning up in the next day or so, so look forward to that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave comments below. Yeah, and until next time, ka kite anō. Take care.